So Iilluminaughtii is getting desperate, and at this point she's clutching at straws. The disgraced commentary YouTuber is only going deeper down the pit of YouTube irrelevancy. Most recently, she responded to Oz Media in an ongoing lawsuit, and it's embarrassing, as she is clearly struggling to find ways to get money during this downfall. Blaire used to be a well-respected commentator, but now she's just washed. So hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Jake Baz, and today we're going to be peeking into the blinds of Iilluminaughtii because she's had a couple of things going on, and well, I mean, I feel sorry for her a bit, bless her. I covered that she quit in my last video, and it seems to really be bearing its fruits, and I'll cover that later. But first, she's clapped back at Oz Media, and I think that she thinks that she shouldn't have done that. For all of you that don't know Blaire, well, where have you been on YouTube? She was once a seemingly great commentator. That on brand with the Illuminaughtii sort of vibe, she would cover multi-level marketing schemes as well as businesses' downfalls. But one post when she incorrectly slated someone for copying her changed that forever, where then we had a fallout of so many content creators posting videos on Iilluminaughtii showing the kind of person that she is, who is basically a Wikipedia copying merchant who's very self-obsessed and seems to just like to enjoy other people's downfalls, which is ironic now because she is truly cooked. And these latest documents that we're going to go through really are a true testament to Iilluminaughtii and the kind of person she is, and how she is willing to try and drag herself out the mud at any means possible, even when things are looking a little bit bad. But before we get into this, if you enjoy the content and you want to see more, please do hit the like and sub. We're a very small channel and I would love to see you back. So we've covered this lawsuit and all the fallouts that we've had in my previous two videos on Iilluminaughtii, which I'll leave in the end card for you to look at if you want, but I'll give you a quick refresher as it's been a while on it. So Blaire filed a lawsuit defamation, and she filed this, in my opinion, because she was running out of money and she wanted a way to try and exit out of YouTube. This was to Oz Media, Felix the KitKat, and Wonderstruck, who are all either former employees of Blaire or have stuck around Blaire for quite a while, including Oz Media, who used to be the boyfriend to Blaire. And there's been a lot of back and forth in the courts, a lot of troubles, a lot of you're basically just being a joke, because Blaire's actual lawsuit seems to have so many flaws, it's just leaking like a colander. Where now she's tried to put out this final thing to try and get to court because it's not looking great. And I genuinely think that this entire thing comes across as quite desperate. These documents once again have been provided by a staple of the channel, who is Madcatster. His videos are great and he does do a very good job at breaking down the legal jargon that is in these sort of documents. So if you enjoy that kind of stuff, please do go and like and subscribe to him. I would love that. He's genuinely such a lovely guy. So there was a motion to dismiss that was handled by Oz Media because they wanted to get away from this, because it's just a lot of the stuff in it was not specific at all and it didn't really make sense to be going to court. And so yeah, this is Blaire's response to that motion to dismiss. And there's some very juicy bits in here again, because, well, she's basically come back and just tried to add a load of stuff into it, and it seems very desperate. And Blaire comes in straight off the bat with something that doesn't make sense in the context of things. And the angle is this case exists because Blaire has begun dating someone new and her ex-boyfriend didn't like it, Oz Media. Which, I mean, is a weird way to start a defamation case that, well, yeah, he was jealous, so he decided to just drop a load of, like, dirt on me. I'm pretty sure, Blaire, that you managed to do that yourself in your own volition, in your own time, and with all of the random stuff that you were doing on your Discord, everywhere. Yeah, saying that rather than respect her choices, defendant began a social media revenge campaign against her by publishing false and harmful statements about her and her once lucrative business. And that's the problem, Blaire, you're doing it for money. So all of this is coming because of money. It's not for pride, it's not for anything. You are suing because you want a bit of cash. But the fact that throughout this entirety of this lawsuit, because obviously she has to, she's blamed it on 3 people as to why the entirety of her channel has disappeared. It's hilarious. All of the views dropping, all of the random comments and negativity around her was caused literally, quite literally, because of her. The reason that all this drama preceded these events And the reason why she is down right now is literally because of the tweet where she is saying that someone has plagiarized her, which then just exposed her as this person who is self-obsessed up her own ass and literally copies Wikipedia pages, as I've said. A channel's minimum effort is pushed out consistently up until now because she's quit, and it was very intentional in that sense, and a lot of people caught on, and that's why she ended up getting such a drop in views. It's not because of Oz Media, Felix the KitKat and Wonderstruck's attempts at taking her down in this sabotage, and I think deep down she really does know that, but she's fucking starving for some money, and I don't blame her considering such the large drops in revenue because of the fact of all this going on. Blaire's lawyers then seem to glaze over everything just a little bit more. Given the intensity of defendants lashing out, one might imagine that Blaire had flaunted a new relationship or done anything that would have prompted a reasonable person to act the way that defendant did. But she did no such thing. Defendant only learned about this relationship when he accessed plaintiff's personal computer without her permission and snooped through her private messages. And they're really playing this boyfriend angle, and I don't understand why, because throughout the entirety of this, Oz Media has never mentioned the fact that she had a boyfriend as any reason as to why he acted out in this way. In my opinion, the reason why Oz Media has acted out in the way that he has is because this entire thing is shambles, and she has done a lot of dirt to him. So it makes sense that you're going to want to act out, doesn't it? By exposing another creator. It doesn't matter what size, this, that, the other. She's a horrible person, and you need to be checked on your morals sometimes. And she's going for this angle to make Oz Media seem like such a jealous loser that just really wants his girl back, but that's not the case. As you can see with this, it goes without saying, however, that the defendant's discomfort at plaintiff's new relationship did not authorise him to publish false and harmful personal attacks against the plaintiffs. Just a note, Blaire, that personal harmful attacks, yeah, well, it doesn't matter if they're truthful, does it? And if this goes to court, I can imagine that this will be proved right. So then she goes to her argument, and one of the first arguments is that the motion contends that the second amended complaint did not set out defamatory statements verbatim, saying that there's hyperlinks and timestamps where the statements were published. Totally ignoring the fact that during the initial lawsuit, and the reason why the courts have twice told her to sort it out, it's because of the fact that there was a lot of problems within it. And by problems, I mean she basically was going on ramblings and just stating random facts and expected everything to be fine and dandy. But the courts didn't feel that it was fine and dandy, which is why they asked for the complaint to be amended. And she's done this twice, and each time it just seems to be adding more information and then also adding a lot more obscurity, and then just like flicking a couple of new ideas into the fore. Like, I don't know, like, what is she doing? After all I've seen in the past couple of responses and things like that, Blaire's lawyers seem to be from Wish, which would make actually sense in the scheme of things when you think about the fact of the amount of money that she's struggling with, i.e. not being able to pay back $3,000 worth of debt, so she's actually getting sued by the state that she lives in. If you can't do that, your knickers are in a twist, considering the fact that you were used to be like a millionaire, as you said, but I'm a millionaire. I hope crypto's doing well for you, because you're finished. They then respond to the fact that they're adding a load of random stuff into it and expecting it to be fine by saying here, it's also not clear how the defendant would be prejudiced by the inclusion of this claim, given that discovery has not yet begun. So basically, we haven't started looking at the lawsuit in the court, so why can't we just add more stuff? And to me, the idea would be that if you are going to go to court, you would have all the evidence at hand in the first place. Just an inkling of thought around this situation. Probably that's how it goes normally. But then they're just hammering this, with us saying that the defamatory statements in claim 3 and 4 are not actionable because they were published after the initial complaint. Basically, you added more stuff after. With Blaire's lawyers saying that this fails because the court directed plaintiffs to file a second amended complaint, and that's what we did. Yeah, but you added random stuff. This is a legal argument, so they're basically trying to get the court to say, well, we did what we did, but Oz Media has obviously looked at this with his decent lawyers and thought, this is not how you do stuff. And I'm interested to see which way that goes. With Blaire's lawyers then highlighting as well, the SAC properly stated a breach of contract claim against the defendant, where they're saying that the motion to dismiss needs to be taken away, so Oz Media, we need to go to court. Because a court would rule in the favour of a plaintiff most of the time. Because basically, if they're suing someone, the courts are going to trust more so the person who's suing than the person who is getting sued. This is once again another argument where, like I said, I think her head's gone a little bit because she's just trying to say, please let me go, please let me go. I really want this. And, well, you can have it, Blaire, potentially. We'll see. Because I feel like in a discovery phase as well, a lot more dirt is going to be pulled up around Blaire. Does she even want that when it's so public? And I think she does, actually. I think she does want that. And the reason why she wants that is because she's struggling for money that much. She can get anything that she can. She will be happy with it. She's looking for an out of settlement, I think. Something like that. Couple of grand under the table, you know, hush money. Just let me pay back the $3,000 that I owe the government. But yeah, Blaire, it's not really how it works. Then from the previous lawsuit, we looked into the fact that, well, she's trying to argue that these trade secrets are being exposed by some messages being thrown out at the woodwork, you know. And we said, well, that doesn't make any sense because these trade secrets are about like intellectual property and like certain like processes into a business that are very complex. And what Blaire did is she chatted shit about someone and she got exposed for chatting shit about someone. So I don't really know where the cross is there. Where's the link up? Someone who's got like patented multi-million pounds worth of patents, if they get stolen and copied, that would make sense. But Blaire chatted shit. That's it. But they're digging for it. Saying that a Twitter thread, that's right, a Twitter thread, with these sort of quotes like anything Blaire needed to say went through me first, essentially act as spokesperson, reveal internal business structure and practice, information and data not generally known outside the company concerning Pyramid or its business, included but not limited to all the other concepts or ideas involving or reasonably related to the business of Pyramid, which is just a joke. How does saying that you're a talking piece for something about Blaire, how does that equate to revealing a trade secret? No, you just chatted shit about something. It's crazy. The fact that she's even arguing this, I don't know. It's like running up a mountain just to jump off the edge. Personally, I don't get it, but maybe she does in a up brain. This lawsuit then goes on to talk about the anti-slap statute, which is basically where, as you see with a lot of like celebrities, what they'll do is if they're in a bit of trouble, they'll just drain someone's finances, especially in like US, by like consistently making people have to work in the courts. It costs barrister time, it costs a lot of money, especially in courts. So anywhere in courts, it's ridiculous the amount of money that you can spend. And the law is against that, against draining someone's funds just to get a point out of them because you've got more money. Saying that for this to be proven, the defendant must prove that the statements implicate public interest but also contribute to the public debate. And also saying that not every statement made in a public forum concerns the public interest. Well, I think you'd find from looking at the YouTube channel of Blaire and the way that it's all gone and how people on Twitter are presenting it, how people on YouTube are presenting it, quite a lot of people do actually care what's going on here. So yeah, she's trying to bat this off because of the fact that, it's public interest. It's not public interest that I'm doing this. And that doesn't make sense, Blaire. But once again, anything for the bag. Then elaborating on this, because obviously these messages were leaked, talking about public figures and how they are, especially in regards to like political and social people, and then saying that this doesn't actually embrace like the public. The public don't need to see this. As you know, in whether or not Blaire is a scummy person, that doesn't mean anything when you're watching a YouTube channel where she covers scummy people. Tying yourself in knots, Blaire, a little bit, aren't you? Because, I mean, your entire channel is built like that. So, for you to say that you have no public interest around the character of a YouTuber or a person, that doesn't make sense. Especially in commentary where like the large amount of people that are watching are going to be watching it from the form of, I actually kind of like that person, and you can kind of guess the type of person that they are in your own head. You presumably know what they're like, what their interests are, and you like the person just generally as a person. So if you're doing like dirty tactics behind the back of the scenes and that never comes out, fair enough, you're fine. But then the second it does come out, it changes the character of you because you are a public figure, and changing that makes you look like a scummy But she really does know this. She knows this. It's just the fact she's trying to get money for it. Saying for this burden, defendant argues that this speech concerns the public interest because the plaintiffs produce video content on YouTube. Except for the subject of the statements, defendant public interest argument makes no reference to the content of the statements which concern private disputes without reference to social or political matters of interest in its public argument. Not every statement about a celebrity, however, implicates public interest. But if you're going around in the back of the scenes of the whole YouTube sphere and you're chatting shit about people and trying to get dirt dug up on multiple different influencers, I genuinely believe it's perfectly in public interest. But clearly she doesn't because she wants money. They're just being like, oh, not every statement about a celebrity is about public interest. And yeah, that's true, but we're not talking about you having a BBL, Blaire. We're talking about you being a twat. Slight little distinction, and I think the public will be wanting. Also just added onto this at the end because she had to. From the vantage of an objective, reasonable observer, it is difficult to see how the private revenge campaign of Oz embraces an issue about which information is needed or appropriate. Defendant has not carried his burden to show that the speech implicates the public interest. Alright, so the crux of the argument is Oz is jealous. That's why he's done all of this, and this is why it shouldn't be in the public interest. Really, I just want some of what Blaire's smoking, or a lawyer's. She has caused all of this. All of this is her own doing. Oz, yeah, he said some stuff about her, but it fits in with everything else that everyone else has been saying about her. This is her entire downfall by herself. And I'm not even going to go for it, but she just digs into this more, talking about a certain lawsuit that happened, and it's saying that this is why the anti-slap doesn't apply. Because it's a revenge campaign. And yeah, fair enough, Blaire. You've made your point. And personally, I totally disagree with it, but I'm no lawyer. She then gets to a point of practically begging in this lawsuit response. At this stage, the court must take plaintiff's evidence as true and evaluate the defendant so only to determine if it defeats the plaintiff's case as a matter of law. The court may not weigh evidence or resolve conflicting factual claims at this step. She's begging for it to go through because you're like, oh, you're meant to do this, you're meant to do this. She just needs money. That's it. That's it. So it doesn't really matter around her argument, and it's why it seems so like weirdly put together and very elaboratory for no reason. Like I said, she can't pay that $3,000. Maybe she just wants to pay that $3,000 that she's being sued for with this lawsuit. Maybe it's the way you do it, innit? But genuinely, she's just cooked, isn't she? She's cooked. And you can tell that she's cooked and she's kind of given up when this next part, she just makes up. Claim 3. Defendant falsely accused plaintiff of extortion on a public video. Plaintiffs presented evidence that the defendant published a statement falsely accusing plaintiff, Blaire, of embezzlement by using company money for a personal purpose. They're explaining that this isn't embezzlement, but they didn't accuse, Oz Media did not accuse her of embezzlement. She's just made that up. And this is a problem. She had 2 revisions of the lawsuits now and about 7 different responses. And I feel that she's just been adding stuff to the point where she's just drowning in the sauce. And then she does a full 180 and she goes back to the point around the fact that, oh, well, I'm not really a public figure. The motion does not provide argument on this point, except to assert that the YouTube personality makes a form of public figure. Apparently the same way running for elective office would make that person a public figure. Yeah, you're right. But media attention alone does not make one a public figure, nor are the businesses per se public figures. And I just find that idea ridiculous. Like, that's one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. How can you, as a YouTuber with 1 million subs and like 100k on Twitter and I think about 70k on Instagram if I remember correctly, get on your pedestal after having this lawsuit problem that you've been a scumbag around, having made so much money with Pyramid Entertainment, which is your YouTube channel? You have made lots and lots and lots of money, working it out definitely higher in the 6 figures than you would imagine, and all off of public attention, which is YouTuber. You're a YouTuber. You speak about yourself on the platform and people come towards you because you're acting the way that you are. It's not a form of public figure. Well, what? As you just ignored the fact that people with like 2,000 followers on Twitter will go and call themselves influencers now, which, by the way, the term influencer is the most disgusting word I have ever heard, especially when you got no clout. No, you just get free products from someone on a TikTok shop. That's it. But I just don't get it. I don't understand how she can try and argue the fact that a YouTuber is not necessarily a public figure, and so therefore Pyramid, who is the people that are her channel, essentially. That's her company. That's what runs it. Is not a public figure either. What are you on about? The only way that she survives on YouTube is by her public presence, the amount of stuff that she puts out to people. So how can that not be a public figure? Oh, yeah, it's because she wants money again, so she's just lying. Brilliant. Right. On to the next. It seems that her lawyers have just found these two sort of things that's going on in her life that she can potentially poke at us with, and just decided to litter it throughout this entire document. Because as you can see here, she gets the double whammy. Here, plaintiffs allege the presented evidence that defendant hauled plaintiffs into public controversy about private disputes to elicit sympathy from others and push plaintiff for her choice to date someone else. Because yeah, you're so jealous of me. You just can't handle that I'm f***ing someone else. The only one you're doing that to now, Blaire, is yourself with this. Defendant has failed to present evidence that proves plaintiffs are public figures within the scope of the defendant's false accusation to plaintiff engaged in embezzlement. Honestly, the problem here is that judges are typically in their 50s or 60s. Like, typically they're getting on a little bit, so they probably don't know the internet, so they might actually be able to get through with an argument like this. But obviously everyone who's on social media, everyone who's watching this video now will know that a public figure is a YouTuber to any extent. Your words carry weight, and that is why you have an influence, which is why they call it influencer. But really, she could just bin herself off with this one. It's ridiculous. And this just goes on. The attempt to make Oz look like a terrible person, to make it seem like this is such a pointless dealing that we're having to go through. Let's just go to court. Defendant's desire to exact revenge provided the motivation to lie. Defendant presents no evidence or argument contesting the falsity of the statements or his state of mind. He therefore does not defeat plaintiff's claim as a matter of law. We're winning because you're jealous. This is like an argument I've making in primary school, which is seriously why I asked the question of what is going on with these lawyers. What are they doing? They're bringing also brand new information in again because she just can't stop littering stuff in there to make it look like it's worse. For example, plaintiffs actually gave defendant financial support for his crypto mining projects by issuing personal loans to him that he could purchase the necessary computer hardware. Like, what has that got to do with anything? What? It's like she had something batted away a few times now. She's like, I had to pay for this as well. I wish she could see her irony. Then also flexing the downfall, which I did actually respect. Defendant also challenges the specific damages pled by plaintiff's paragraph, showing the viewership go down basically, and that it reveals and conceals. Just because my views have gone down at coincidentally at different times to when Oz Media, Felix, KitKat and Wonderstruck had posted similar stuff around her, it doesn't mean I'm not right. Well, your entire things about financial damages, you talk about it multiple times in multiple instances in your lawsuit, so no, I think you're lying. With her then concluding, wherefore the plaintiffs respectfully request court to enter its order denying the defendant's motion to dismiss the second amended complaint, and for any other relief this court deems just and proper. So she's basically just saying, please, let's get on with it. Let's actually go to the discovery phase, which is where people end up going through all of the evidence to be able to bring it to the court of law to get judged. Personally, I find the way that she's just trying to shoehorn other things into this constantly and consistently, once again, it doesn't really make sense to the entire scope of the document, because she's just adding more and more and more, when the entire point of a lawsuit is you have everything in front of you before you go towards it. Just her adding a load of contextual other stuff which make Oz seem like a worse person as well. It's really bad. And I'm not sure what she wants to or can achieve with this. It doesn't really seem like she can achieve much. If anything as well, around this entire situation, she talks a lot about these being the people that have taken her down, and these like leaked screenshots are the reason why. And it doesn't really seem pertinent at all that is the case. And I say that because I've seen so many Discord messages from Iilluminaughtii of her just shitting on people consistently who are around her in a circle or people that she just doesn't like. And I think everyone else has seen them as well, which probably explains why a lot of people dislike her. So why aren't you suing every single person for them? Or because one, it's impossible, and two, you know it's bullshit. The only reason that she's going for Oz Media and that now in this lawsuit is because it's the closest thing that she can get to actually getting money. I also got a lot of comments on my last video that was around the idea that she started another channel, and she might have done. she genuinely might have done, but I feel that with how she is and how her content has turned into, I feel like it'd be impossible unless she's got like an AI generated voice to be able to get away with it without being spotted. She had that Prisons of the Past YouTube channel that she was going to do stuff on, but she never ended up doing that, and obviously she's not going to do that now. But yeah, she might be doing some AI content. That's true. That's true. She might be making some money, but then it asked the question of, well, you're being sued $3,000. That's it, 3,000, which I know that's it. That is a lot of money. But that's it in the scope of how many subs, how many views, how many followers she's had in the past couple of years. She's got more than enough, or she should have more than enough money for it. But she's not, and she can't. So is she refusing to do this, refusing to pay it? I don't know. But if I had the ability to actually go to prison for this stuff, I think I probably would actually end up paying for it. I feel her finances are in a sorry state, and with the amount of like experience that she has building channels up, she would have been able to make a big channel by now. I can guarantee that. And she hasn't, so I can imagine that she just picked up and left, to be honest, genuinely. And she can't have many employees anymore if she does have one. She can't, because it's impossible, it's infallible, the entire thing. And for the next steps to this, basically we're going to have a court decision, and then we're going to see if we're going to be going to the discovery phase, where a lot more stuff will be dug up about her. It will really change the perception of her, which is already waning and already ridiculously bad. It's going to make it look worse. I really don't think that Iilluminaughtii has anything to stand on. I feel like she is just this obsessive person that cares about herself way too much, and also goes on different tangents to be horrible to other people for no reason. She's just a massive beg that's ironic, and she can't really see herself on the other side of the mirror. I really think she's quit, but what do you lot think? If you know, let me know in the comments. If this does end up going to a trial, I can only see one way going for it, and that is with Iilluminaughtii getting it thrown out. I genuinely don't think. I don't think she's got a leg to stand on in this. There's too many problems that she's already caused here, and it looks like her lawyers are made off Alibaba, or maybe Fiverr. Maybe she managed to go up to the level of Fiverr for this one, but what do you lot think? Please do let me know. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like and sub. I would love to see you back. And yeah, I've been Jake Baz, and I will see you in the next one.